clear picture of what you would like your future company to look like, and then you come back to the present and you say, all right, if that's where I want to be in 5 years, what would I have to do starting today to begin to create that perfect company? What would be the first step? And here's the most amazing thing, is you can always see the first step. You'd always know that you should start doing more of this, or start doing less of that, or start doing something new, or stop doing something that you're already doing. But you can always see the first step. And the most wonderful thing is that when you take the first step, is you get 3 benefits. The first benefit is that you get feedback, which enables you to self-correct. And all of life is a process of experimenting and feedback and changing and correcting. That's all of life. Second of all is you get ideas. There's something about acting that actually triggers your creativity. It makes you smarter. It activates more of your brain. Sitting there passively doesn't do anything, but taking action actually sort of lights up your brain like a Christmas tree. And the third factor is that taking action gives you confidence. Your self-confidence goes up. Is the more actions you take in the direction of your goals, the more confidence you have, the more creative you are, the more energy you have, the happier you are. You feel like you're in control of your life. You feel powerful. And that is why the difference, the 80-20 rule that we've talked about, the top 20% of people in every society and business are proactive. They're constantly taking action. The bottom 80% are passive, is they're waiting for someone else to come and tell them what to do. And so since you are highly proactive, you're obviously in the top, probably the top 10% of your field. And the people in the top 10% are the ones who enjoy all the rewards. Be very clear about this fantasy and then take the first step. And you always know what the first step is. Well, the first step is always the hardest. To do something new, to start something new, to move out of your comfort zone, the first step is always the hardest. But in skiing, you have to work very hard to get yourself up to the top of the slope, and then you push off, and then the natural momentum starts to carry you, and you go faster down the slope. Well, taking the first step is the same as pushing off. Once you take the first step, you kind of break the inertia that's holding you back, and you start to move faster towards your goal. Now, when you take the first step, the most wonderful thing is you can then see the second step, and then you can see the third step, and you can always see one step ahead. And the difference between winners and losers in business and in life is winners take the first step. Everybody wants to be rich and successful and happy and healthy and have a great family relationship and live forever. People say, oh, these are my goals, as if you're unique. Everybody's got the same goals. The only question is some people take the first step, and then they take the second step, and they take the third step, and they keep getting feedback and ideas, and they fail, and they fall down, and they pick themselves up, but they're intensely action-oriented. If there's one thing about top people like yourself, is they're action-oriented. How do I know that you're action-oriented? It's because you're here. You had to go through a lot of time and trouble and inconvenience to be here today, which means that you're action-oriented people. That is the highest praise that you can say to a person. Most people, the bottom 80%, are passive. So the first question we do is wave a magic wand and say, if your business was perfect in 5 years, what would it look like? Now, Peter Drucker, the management guru, had this wonderful observation. I love Drucker. He said, we greatly overestimate what we can do in 1 year, but we greatly underestimate what we can do in 5 years. And so if your job is to create a great company with absolutely excellent products and services, great reputation, good people, high sales, great profitability, wonderful place to work, and so on, it's all achievable. It's just a matter of time. All you have to do is do what other companies have done to achieve the same thing. So this brings us back, and I'm looping back again, to the other fantasy that we do. Again, it's a 5-year fantasy or even shorter, is you ask yourself, if you had a magic wand, and you could wave this magic wand, and overnight you could become excellent at any one skill in your business. You could become world-class and top maybe 1% of people in your field. If you could develop any skill within 24 hours, or take a magic pill and wake up the next morning and be absolutely excellent at any one skill, what one skill would help you the most to be more successful in your business? Now, this is one of the great questions, and it becomes a guiding question for the rest of your career. You ask other people this question, you ask your children. If you're as a consultant or an advisor, keep asking people what one skill, one capability, what they call one core competence would help you the most to achieve your business goals. In many audiences, I say, how many people here would like to double their income? And everybody raises their hand. Then I say, what one skill would help you the most to double your income? And you know that most people are only one skill away from doubling their income? They're only one skill away. What I have found is that almost everybody knows the answer to that question. If you don't know the answer to that question, you cannot move ahead. If you do not know the answer to that question, and you cannot focus on that question, then you're stuck in place. Because the only way that we move ahead is by getting better at the most important things that we do. So if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. And so if we're not continually improving in the most important areas, and if you're going to improve in the area that's going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. It's going to give you the biggest impact on your financial life in business. The law of probabilities says that the more things you do in a particular area, the greater is the probability that you will do the right things and be successful. And so if you wanted to double your income, just double the amount of time you spend with people who can buy your services or your products. And so distraction, technological distraction today is killing you. It's destroying your hopes for your future. It's keeping you busy, and at the end of the day, you've accomplished nothing and you're exhausted. According to a recent report, every time that you respond to a new impulse and a new distraction, it burns up of your brain energy. At the end of a day, average person's IQ has decreased by 10 points. That means throughout a distracting day, you get stupider all day long. And by the end of the day, you're just plain stupid. Now, once you have learned this skill, which you will, only one person in the world that can stop you from mastering a skill. Who is that? Always yourself. It's a lack of self-discipline, lack of personal management, lack of control, and so on. Weakest important skill sets the height of your income. Your weakest important skill. In every field, there's 5 to 7 vital skills. Your weakest skill in this little group of skills sets the height of your income and your success. And so often, it's one skill that's holding us back more than anything else. And when I say that, everybody knows what I'm talking about. It's the one skill. Usually in business, it's marketing or sales or a combination thereof. Sometimes it's business development, customer relationships, and so on. But we know what it is. The only question is, are we going to sit there passively, or are we going to say, damn, I'm going to learn that skill. I'm going to become very, very good at that skill, whatever it happens to be. And the wonderful thing is that once you learn a skill, another thing happens, is a nickel drops in your brain, and you realize, I can learn new skills. Damn, I can learn any skill. I could learn languages. I could learn any skill. Wow, and suddenly the dam breaks in your mind, and all the hesitation and lack of confidence and lack of certainty that you had, suddenly you realize, I can learn anything I need to learn. And it gives you a tremendous sense of power. So from then on, your whole life becomes a do-it-to-yourself project. Your whole life becomes a process of learning one skill at a time, climbing the ladder of success. Every rung on the ladder is higher income, greater influence, greater power in your profession. Getting better in your field is one of the most important things you can do. But the most important work you do is thinking well about yourself and your work. In fact, every mistake that you've ever made has been a result of poor thinking or not thinking at all. Every success you've ever had has usually been the result of really good thinking prior to taking action. Now, the reason why thinking is so important is that the quality of your thinking determines the quality of your decisions. And it's an interesting observation is that you are where you are and what you are today as a result of the total of all your choices and decisions up to this moment. In every part of your life, from the time you became an adult or before, you've made choices and decisions. The cumulative result is where you are today. Your income, your health, your happiness, your business, everything else. But my great rule, which is quoted all the time, is that it doesn't matter where you're coming from. All that really matters is where you're going. And where you're going is only limited by your imagination. So what you do is you say, forget the past. In the past, I could have done things differently, but I can't change the past, but I can change the future completely by what I do now. So the quality of your thinking determines the quality of your choices and decisions. The quality of your choices and decisions determines the quality of your actions, and the quality of your actions determines the quality of your results. And in business and life, everything is results. Results are the most important single word. Is what results are expected of you? What results do you need to get in order to achieve the goals that you set for yourself? And the ability to be absolutely crystal clear about the results that are necessary is the mark of the leader. And successful people are those who are very disciplined. Is this the very best use of my time? Now, the reason that thinking is so important, aside from the results, is because of the word consequences. What it said was that something is important to the degree to which it has big potential consequences. Something is unimportant to the degree to which it has low or no consequences. And what is the difference between top people and average people? Top people do more and more things that have big potential consequences. Not guaranteed consequences, but potential consequences. Average people spend most of their time doing things that have low or no consequences at all. In other words, if they did them all day long, it wouldn't make any difference. But top people realize there's 2 or 3 things they can do: learning a critical skill, making a critical decision, taking an important action. There's certain things they can do that have enormous potential consequences. I have had experiences where meeting one person at the right time in my career has led to millions of dollars of revenue. And the consequences, I look back and I say, if I had not taken those steps and been assertive and aggressive and traveled and done all those things to establish that relationship, the difference would have been phenomenal. So the great question for you to ask: what are the consequences of what you're doing? And of all things, thinking has the greatest consequences. Quality of your thinking has the greatest consequences of all.